Joe Bart. He's been all over my For You page. Never sat down and watched the video. Are you happy? What to do if you're not? I like it. I'm sold.
Consider yourself happy. I think a lot of people answering that question would give a resounding no. And then, you know, follow up with a few reasons why, whether it be they hate their job, they just got broken up with, they're depressed, a million other things. A lot of people would say yes. And then I think a very big bulk of individuals would say, I don't know. Maybe. Some days yes, some days no. Because happiness
Look at all the plaques in the back.
varies day to day. And what makes you happy?
I like the lava lamp.
How can you be somebody that is a happier person? Well, first, we need to go over what happiness even is. The definition of happiness is the feeling of pleasure or content, but it's not that simple to just say, oh yeah, I feel pleasurable today, I feel content today. In a given moment, it can mean that, right? Like if in an hour of a given day, you might be happy, right? If you're on a roller coaster, watching a movie, doing something that you enjoy, in that moment, you're happy. But are you happy as a person? Is your life in the day-to-day basis of your life something that you would consider makes you happy? So does that make you happy? Are you stressed? Are you unhappy? And that's a much more complex question because, yeah, if you're out drinking with your friends or you're on a date or you're doing something that
couple of glasses of red,
immediate pleasure or content, you're happy in that moment. But overall,
opening cases,
it's a much larger and harder to answer question on how to reach that happiness, as well as if you're even happy to begin with. I think happiness is a culmination of small individual goals and pleasure points that kind of lead up to one larger goal or thing that can make you happy. I think happiness and achievement intertwine greatly, right? Like being able to build towards goals and have an individual purpose.
What is scissor on the board?
Drives people. And I think having that drive is what gives you happiness, because even if you have lacks of stress, you could be bored and feel like there's no meaning. And that is similar to the feeling of disgust or displeasure. And displeasure is the lack or the opposite of the thing that would cause happiness. I feel like I explained that poorly. A better way to determine what makes somebody happy is the lack of things that cause you to be unhappy. And we were just recently talking about that in another video where we were talking about money, right? Does money equal happiness? And I would say no, but money removes a lot of the stresses that cause you to be unhappy.
I would say yes.
Therefore contributing to, in some fashion, happiness. It doesn't make you happy in every way whatsoever, because, you know, there's still a million things in your life that could cause you to be unhappy, whether it be stresses, deaths in the family, individual genetic disbalances in your brain that cause you to be more anxious or depressed, or things of those sorts. I think humans are addicted to pleasure, right? That is kind of how you derive morality. It's how you derive happiness, right? Does something cause pleasure or pain, right? That's an argument that a lot of philosophers will make on the grounds of how morality even exists, right? If something is painful or displeasurable, it's bad. And if it's pleasurable, it's good, with a few exceptions. And then you can get into an argument of like drugs.
I'm pretty sure there was a study done with rats or monkeys or something like that. And if they would press a button, they would feel pleasure. I forget what was happening that would make them feel pleasure, but they would feel pleasure. And the rats or monkeys got so addicted that they pressed the button non-stop that like they stopped drinking water, they stopped eating, and they eventually died from just repeatedly pressing the button, bro.
Or something that might be pleasurable to me, but not you. And then you go into the subjectiveness of what somebody may like or dislike. And that's where morality gets a lot more complicated. But back to the happiness part of things, I think a lot of people are unhappy because they don't have enough outlets to achieve pleasure in a meaningful sense. And by that, I don't mean like you got to start doing meth. I mean the exact opposite. Similar to a drug addict that's doing meth over and over again, while theirs is a chemical, you know, balance in their brain, and then the drugs kind of obviously building up a tolerance in their system, the same thing could be said of a goal or thing that you achieve on a daily basis that causes pleasure. If you only do one or two things every day that make you happy and give you contentment, then overall and throughout time, that contentment level is going to decrease over time because you're doing the same thing over and over again. It will become monotonous. It will become boring. Boring is equal to disgust, and disgust equals unpleasure, unhappiness. So one of the best things that you can do is give yourself a variety of things and goals that you could achieve to make you happy. One of the obvious examples that people, don't really think about often is just sports. The reason people enjoy sports, the reason people enjoy video games is because you get small level achievements all the fucking time, right? And sports are something that are addicting and also lack the toleration level that a lot of other things do, right? Like where you might do one individual thing every day, you might watch a movie every day, and off rip, they make you feel really happy, and then over time they become boring and, stale. When you rewatch a series over and over again. But when you play sports and you enjoy, soccer, basketball, football.
I think that's why people get so addicted to golf, to be honest. Because I think golf, for stuff like football and basketball, you definitely improve week in, week out. But golf is just so hard. And if you're bad at something in golf, you're exposed. You're fully exposed. You can't get out of it. If you slice the ball, you can't get out of it. You either overcompensate and you hook the ball, or you just keep on slicing it. But if you play football and you're bad at dribbling, you can get away with that. You can just do quick passes. You can just maybe play as a defender, hop in goal. You can do a million things. If you keep hooking the ball in golf, if you're a poor putter, you're just exposed. So I think people get addicted because improvements happen every single week. Every time you hit the range, you're improving. Every time you hit the putting green, you're improving.
Marvel Rivals, Overwatch, Fortnite, whatever video game that may be, if you still enjoy that feeling of, scoring a basket, getting a kill, getting a goal, whatever it may be, you're getting a level of reward over and over again. That's why people like competing. It's not just a biologically driven, mindset to compete against other people. It's you have a purpose, and your purpose is to do something that isn't that hard to accomplish, but as you play it more and more, you have to try more, and then you get a better goal, right? That's why people like skill-based matchmaking. That's why people like competitive sports, because you get that goal, and it's easy, and then you play a harder opponent, and then it's harder to get that goal. You get it, and then you feel a better level of pleasure, or at least an equal level of pleasure over time, even though you're doing the same thing over and over again, because it's harder to reach that goal. And I think that ties in with life in general, that you always need to be working towards something to feel happy. One of the biggest reasons a lot of very rich people are fucking unhappy, even though they have both boatloads of money, is because there's nothing for them to fucking do.
There's nothing to do. End game.
They've achieved everything. You can see this in Powerball winners. Yeah, they blow their money a lot of the time, but they also end up going down these fucking rabbit holes of depression a lot of the time, because you're just giving a guy that averagely made $35,000 a year, wanting to achieve all these things in his life, all the money to achieve those things. He gets them within a month span, and then he sits there and goes, well, what's the fucking point anymore? Because there's nothing for him to drive himself towards. The hunt and chase for success and achievement is a lot of the time what creates that pleasure and contentment and makes an individual happy. It's not even like a state of being necessarily. It's just the constant loop of achieving goals. The more effort you put into something, the higher that reward is when you achieve it. And something that can cause a very high level of displeasure is when that achieved goal is lackluster. And I'm going to relate this more to video games too, because obviously you could see this through my other content, and I think it's something that's relatable for my audience. When you play a game that's really hard and then the ending fucking sucks, or you watch a horror movie that keeps you stressed out the whole time, and then the ending fucking sucks, and you leave that experience unhappy because you went through this, kind of strain of emotions or struggle, or, constantly dying, respawning, and having to retry something just to get something that's meh in the end. And that's a similar thing with jobs and with people's daily life. When people work 9 to 5s and they're getting a lack of pay, but they're working hard, that's when they're unhappy, because the effort they feel they're putting in is disproportionate to the level of output that they're
It's rough out there. It's rough out there, man.
Or in terms of pleasure or feeling that they're doing something for the world. It may be a variety of reasons. Some people are unhappy with their 9 to 5 because they're putting in a lot of effort and they're not getting a reward monetarily. Some people just don't like their job in general because it feels boring and the actual achievements within that actual 9 to 5 feel, I guess, less pleasurable. Like an example would be somebody that's working at a cash register versus somebody that's a cook that's constantly making and pumping out dishes, right? They're having an individual achievement every time comparable to somebody that's just kind of standing at a cash register and checking people out. It depends basis to basis on what people like pleasure-based, right? Like if you had to pick through a variety of 9 to 5s, each individual may like one more than the other, even if the pays are the same, possibly due to how easy they perceive the job, right? Some people are good at some things more than others, and how pleasurable that achievement may be time to time in that little, 9 to 5 frame where you're, completing these tasks over and over and over again. Obviously, I can't talk about this in a personal understanding point, but from everybody that I've spoken to, like a great example is like Amazon delivery drivers. They have like the highest turnover rate in terms of, getting the job. And then 6 months later, the majority of workers don't even work there anymore.
They're so good.
If you are a long-term worker at Amazon, you don't have that many friends if you're a delivery driver because you don't interact with them and you just see new people all the time.
They're being
right?
worked to the guilds, but they're so good.
Part of the reason is because the job's stressful as fuck. It's hard. They put a lot of pressure on you. The reward's not great. And the individual reward within the job of delivering packages isn't pleasurable, right?
And they just started tipping my Amazon drivers.
I would much rather be flipping burgers at a fucking fast food place and just doing orders, and kind of being in that, effortless action mindset versus being like, holy fuck, I have 185 packages I have to deliver in one day and I'm only getting paid fucking 16 an hour. I don't know why I'm going on this off tangent rant about the job market in general, but all of that relates to happiness. And I feel like a lot of people perceive their own happiness in a given moment. Like if I were to ask you, are you happy? You're going to answer that question entirely off of if you're happy now or not. But you have to look at it at a much broader scale and what you can do to increase that generic happiness in a given day. Happiness is also related to survival, right? Your brain gives you pleasure endorphins and emotions for completing specific tasks because that drives you to do things that keep you alive and enable you to produce offspring before you die, right? Having a good night's sleep, getting food, having sex, right? All of those things are just like easy examples of like, okay, obviously those are like biological, but also on a given basis, like when you complete tasks and you get that pleasure point, you have to think back to like cavemen days where instead of a 9 to 5, they were hunting. And when they were able to gather certain foods and complete individual tasks that they had to get done in a given day, they felt happiness and lack of stress because they felt more safe.
Bro,
they got everything.
while he was talking about Amazon, I got an email that my order is dispatched.
Similarly, you still are an animal. You, even if you do live in a house now and you have a bed, air conditioning, Wi-Fi, you're watching this video on a fucking piece of technology, we're still animals and we still function biologically and chemically as an animal. You're just more able to control and understand how and why you function that way, and you can manipulate
100%.
your own emotions accordingly. That's one of the cool freedoms of being a human. One of the downsides as well is because you have this level of introspection, but you're also more capable of controlling how you feel because you understand it at a different level. Most animals think fully on emotion and instinct. You're able to look at things from an outward perspective and adapt. So what kind of an advice piece that I'm giving you is if you're unhappy, there's a lot of things that you can do to try and fix it, like I've been previously talking about. One of the coolest things about humans, too, is because we have that level of introspection and outside thinking, you're capable of understanding that pain can lead to pleasure. Not in like a weird sadistic sense or like some kink shit. I'm more so talking like you understand your 9 to 5 sucks, right? You don't like it. It causes you pain. Maybe not physically, but emotional pain. You're displeased by doing that job. But you do it because you realize that the result of that will give you pleasure at a later date. People sacrifice happiness in the present or short-term future to gain happiness long-term. And not many other animals are capable of doing that. I really don't like the 3 a.m. rise, grind, and hustle like mindset that a lot of people are in, where they're like, you need to get up at 4 a.m, do 100 push-ups, go on a 5-kilometer run before you eat breakfast. That's fucking stupid.
You know how we be.
But
you know how we be.
The biggest takeaways that those people give, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due, is that they are great at divvying up tasks. Yeah, they get up early, and I don't think you need to do that. And I've talked about this before, where it's like, what the fuck does it matter if you get up at 4 a.m. because you're going to bed at 9 p.m. versus somebody that gets up at 9 and goes to bed, later than you do, because you still have the same amount of active hours in a day. I think what they do, the rise and grind guys that a lot of people don't, is they're much better at dividing.
I agree overall, but people that wake up at 4 or 5, there is undeniably a million less distractions, because whenever you're trying to complete a task in 2026, the biggest distraction is probably phone notifications. Whether you're trying to read a book, do some work, paint, whatever you're trying to do, your biggest distraction is going to be a phone notification. But whether it's your friend texting you, your friend sending you a reel, your friend telling you to jump on the game, those texts are going to happen a lot less at 5 a.m. That's one benefit I would give to the 5 a.m. crew.
Lighting up individual tasks towards a long-term goal than a lot of other people. I think what I've seen specifically on social media is a lot of young people that are like upset because of their current, position, and they want this goal that's 10, 20 years in the future. And yeah, I think the world needs to change, and I think people should be able to retire younger and not work as much. But I think one of the problems is a lot of people push towards a goal that's 2, 3, 4, 5 years away. That's a long fucking time. Like a year might go by in the snap of a fingers, but looking back at it, dude, that's 365 days. That is a long fucking time. What's going to make your life a lot happier is if you have that long-term goal that's going to give you a massive boost in happiness, whether it be, retirement, getting a car, paying off a student loan, whatever it may be. Have smaller goals, or even like a trip, right? Like if you want to go on vacation, have smaller goals between that give you maybe not as big of a reward, but still something that keeps you motivated and moving towards your long-term end. Because if you get yourself in the same fucking, task every single day, and you don't have many things that reward you, you're gonna start getting tunnel vision. That goal at the end of the fucking road is gonna feel further and further away. So you have to give yourselves like checkpoints to get there. It's gonna sound stupid, but like write shit down, right? Like write your tasks down to do today, or just a week in advance. I always write down what I need to get done.
I've been doing that.
Generally a week in advance. Like I knew I was going to be filming this video. It's a Tuesday at 1:32 p.m. I knew I was going to be filming this video around this time 7 days ago, because I wanted to have that scheduled out to reduce my stress, which doesn't necessarily increase my happiness, but it removes things that could cause me to be unhappy. And it lets me divvy up things to where I have a bunch of mini goals that I get done in a day. Like on my to-do list, like write it in your notes tab, right? Every day, my first task is wake up. I didn't even do anything there. But it's not really providing me that much of like, a benefit or reward. But, I wake up, I go, I didn't die today. I didn't die in my sleep. That's great. And then I get to cross something off my list. And every single thing you get to cross off your list makes you feel some level of accomplishment. And I don't want to say it makes the day go by faster, but it makes a lot of tasks that you have to get done in a given space of time a lot more achievable and easier to spread out over periods of time. And then because of your scheduling a lot, you're able to give yourself more reward points, more times off, and more things that you're able to do, because you're able to kind of pinpoint tasks that you have to get done in like either the earlier half or the latter half of the week, depending on when you want to get, some free time or go see a movie, hang out with friends, whatever it may be. The only problem and the reverse of this is you could get addicted to getting things done, and I get a lot of stress knowing that there's more. I can't relax. That's why, I mean, if we're being fully transparent, that's why I get high all the fucking time, right? Because when I'm not, I'm doing work and other shit until I go to bed. Even if it's not something necessarily for social media, I'm trying to come up with other video ideas. I'm trying to order things for future videos. I'm trying to find future games. I'm going through tabs. I'm trying to figure out a million other things that I could do to, kind of improve either my social media job or try to give me another sense of reward or kind of even start doing tasks that I'm not doing for another 2 days. Like, one of the biggest things is, say I have 6, 7 things that I need to get done today. If I finish all of them, and it's 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., I'm going to go, well, I still have like 3 hours, 4 hours until I go to sleep, or so I could just get more done. Why don't I start doing the work that I have for Wednesday? And then I kind of load that onto the back end. And sometimes that's fine because then I'm able to give myself more time off in the end, but also recognize there is like a limit and kind of like a stress bar where you're going to have so much stuff sometimes that you need to spread it out. Even if you don't want to and you want to get it done today, sometimes you need to get it done tomorrow, but don't be somebody that procrastinates because then you're going to be constantly stressing.
That's my biggest downfall.
And then you don't
procrastination
feel
and
a sense
discipline,
of reward. You actually feel a sense of
they're
pain
like siblings
from even having to do them so high that there is no reward in getting it done. Like, one of the best things for school that I learned was just don't procrastinate. Like, if you're able to sit down and write an essay and write out an outline and kind of condense that so it's not some big fucking scary task to write a 20-page paper when you're in college that counts for 40% of your fucking grade, and you can outline it and then write the first 10 pages one day and the other 10 instead of pushing it all into fucking 1 8-hour span, the work seems a lot less and the reward is actually a lot higher in proportion. The reward won't change, but you can mitigate the level of stress that you have for specific tasks if you can divvy them up. But when you do so, as I was saying, don't get addicted to getting shit done. I think it's great, and it's one of the reasons that I am where I am in terms of success. I think it's heavily on luck too, but I'm also very consistent, right? I post every day on the main channel, almost every day on the gaming. I try to stream 6 days a week if I'm not vlogging or doing other breaks, and even when I am on break, I'm trying to make other content.
Wonder if he has I'm sure he has an editor.
Consistency
Maybe he doesn't.
Can help increase your day-to-day happiness because you're getting more done. You have a higher variety in your life. You're going to reach your goals a lot quicker. You're just going to feel better. And I think that's one of the best pieces of advice that I could give in terms of just like work ethic. This video has become less philosophy and more like Joe Bart advice for fucking like doing tasks. But I feel like it's something important. And I don't know, like I don't really see anybody around me do that. And then they ramble about how they have so many things to get done. But I know them, and I know that they haven't been doing shit the last 2 days. Fucking spread it out, man. Give yourself things to look forward to. That's like one of the best things you could do in your life. And also just like, be thankful for the things around you. You're fucking alive right now. Like, the odds that you're here are so fucking low. Spend time with your family. Spend time with your friends. When you have that free time, don't just fucking scroll TikTok and short form media for fucking 4 hours. I deleted TikTok yesterday. You're never going to remember it. It's not going to be a fucking valuable memory. Go do.
I don't know what. There's some video I saw years ago. And I think it was when I was scrolling TikTok. A video popped up like anti-social media, anti-TikTok, something like that. And it was just some guy. And it was like a 10-second video. And I was like, tell me the last 5 TikToks you've watched. Like right above this video right now that you've scrolled to. Tell me the last 5 videos you've watched. And I tried to think. I had no idea. I could remember the most recent one. Vaguely the second most recent one. After that, I couldn't remember them. And that would have been 15 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago. And I couldn't remember them. And I was like, whoa. Like, what am I actually doing?
Things. Make your life a fucking story. And make it a good one. And you can do that. Even no matter what situation you're in, you're able to make something of it. That's all. I really do. I think soon I'm going to do like an analysis of an individual philosophical book. I was talking about this on the fucking stream the other day. I have a philosophy degree. Obviously, that's why I make this channel. I think it's a passion of mine. I like being able to talk about easier topics because I think it's something that's more condensable for a broader audience. but I also have to recognize my limitations on my own philosophical knowledge. I think I'm able to paraphrase a lot of things, and I think I could go over a lot of topics, but I like going over them in my own words using the things that I've learned through my degree. I see a lot of other philosophical creators or philosophy creators like Alex O'Connor, for example. He's so fucking smart, right? He's able to quote and, pinpoint exact things in a book that I can't, right? And obviously he might be putting a lot more time than I am into these videos. I kind of just write a rough outline of what I want to say, and then I kind of just ramble for 30 minutes and then fucking send it to my editor. But that's the style that I like, and I think it's what I kind of want to stick to. But I do want to get into more, I guess, specific talks about topics that I use a philosopher to kind of bounce off of. I just don't really know what I want to do. And so that's why, I appreciate the suggestions and stuff. Somebody actually asked about this in one of the comment sections, so that's why I made a video about this. So if you have anything that you want me to talk about, send it down below.
You have any video recommendations for me? You let me know.
I might do some videos. I also think I might, this might be a rip from him. I might do a video where I choose 5 or 6, 7 comments and kind of just ramble about, each of those individual topics for a specific stream, whatever it may be. I do like making these long form ones too. And I try to make these once every other week. And then, I post once a week. One of them's a react, but yeah. Sorry for the, back end here of me just rambling about content, but
don't worry about it, Joe.
What you want me to talk about next. Appreciate y'all. I hope you have a fucking fantastic day or night, whatever it may be. See ya.
Good video. Shout out, Joe. Shout out, Joe. I'll leave the video linked down below in case anyone has seen this video and you haven't seen the original. Shout out, Joe. And make sure you like and sub to Joe. And make sure you like and sub to LukeyC for more reacts. Yes, sir.